Why is there a G in sign? What's the lesson about? Today you will learn that English spelling gives clues about the meaning, history, and sounds in a word. In this lesson you'll learn why there are silent letters in English words, the big three influences on English spelling, and how we pronounce a word changes when we add morphemes, but the spelling is consistent. Sign is a word that has a few different meanings depending on the context. It could be a noun, as in a physical sign, a verb, as in I need to sign the document, or it could have a slightly more abstract meaning, like a superstitious sign, such as believing a black cat will mean you're going to have a bad day. It comes from the Latin signare, meaning mark, print, or motion of the hand. Sign is a free base, meaning it's a word on its own, and we can add affixes to it to make other words, like signal and designer. When we do, the pronunciation shifts. Let's take a look at some of those shifts. In sign, the S represents an unvoiced S, the I is a long I, and the G is inaudible. In signal, the I shifts to a short I, and we can hear a G in this two-syllable word. And in designer, the S shifts from an unvoiced S to a voiced Z. Although the pronunciation shifts in these words, the base remains stable because they're all related in meaning, and that's because morphology is one of the key influences on English. The prefixes, bases, and suffixes that make up a word have an impact on how we spell it. The next influence is etymology, or the word's history and origin, just like how we keep the G in sign to signal its Latin root. And finally, we have phonology, or the sound systems in our language, and the letters we use to represent them, or phonics. These are the big three influences on English. Last lesson we learned there are three types of morphemes. Prefixes that are fixed before the base, bases that are the core kernel of meaning, and suffixes that are fixed after the base, and there can be more than one, like in reassigned, helplessness, and signature. These chunks get reused over and over again in thousands of different English words. So to sum it all up, the big three influences on English spelling are morphology, or meaningful units in words, such as prefixes, bases, and suffixes, etymology, which is the history and origin of words, and phonology, or the sound properties of words. There are no silent letters in English. Some letters represent sounds, some represent meaning, some represent history, but all letters are there for a reason. We just have to work out which one it is. It's your turn. Divide your mini whiteboard or page into 3 columns. Label them meaning, history, and sounds. Write each word in the correct column. Y is the OA in goat. Y is the G in sign. Y is the UN in undo. Have another turn for a bonus. Can you think of other words with spellings you found hard to understand? Discuss them, search them up in a dictionary, thesaurus, or online, and see if you can find the reason for their spelling. Can you name the big three influences on English? Now you know English isn't just an imperfect, irregular system that represents purely sound. It also represents meaning and history, and understanding this about a written language system or spelling can help us read and spell better. We hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and to explore more mind-blowing word study resources, visit morphologyhub.com.